The Barroom Network presents two fired-up Bears fans. They are ready to rumble on the Bear Debate.
Hey, this is David Kaplan from the Cap J Hood Show on ESPN 1000 and NBC Sports Chicago. Now get ready to listen and watch to Bulls 101 with Kris and Larro. Take that, Sparkles.
What's up, guys? This is Chris Amundsen here with Larro Golden. Welcome to Bulls 101. On the Saturday evening, we had a really interesting week for the Bulls. They had really compelling and great victories over the Nets and the Mavericks. And then last night, they had a blowout loss against the Warriors. Obviously, they were missing Nikola Vucevic, and we saw how much that affected them. But an interesting week for sure, and we're going to dive into some film tonight. So, Lara, how you doing? How was your week, and how do you enjoy the games?
Oh man, the games have definitely been, before the Warriors game, they've been fun. Obviously, ups and downs, but the Warriors game was, it was a punch in the face of like some realism in terms of like what this team needs to work on, and also how this team, or I should say, how important a certain someone is to the offense of this team, and how Vooch makes this thing go on offense. You know what I mean? So, but I mean, it's a learning experience. For these guys, it's real first game without like having Vooch. So, they just got to figure out how they're going to play the game now. What different actions are they going to run now? Maybe you can't run those dribble handoffs and things like that with Tony Bradley and, whoever else you're going to have out there. Maybe you have to generate offense differently, So I'm kind of eager to see how they go about things going forward.
Yeah. Even though Vooch has had a lot of offensive struggles to start the year, as we've witnessed, he is so integral to the way that they run offense and the way that they run their defense. And I thought going into the game against Golden State that this was a prime candidate for us to get blown out because, number one, the Warriors were 10-1. They have the best point differential in the league right now. They were at like 13.7 when we entered the game. They're at home in Golden State. Bulls haven't won a game in Golden State since 2015. And they were going to have to redesign their offense and defense on the fly because they basically found out that Vucevic wasn't going to be with the team as they were boarding the plane, basically. Like he ended up not making the trip, but it was like within hours of them leaving, being scheduled to leave for California. So I was hoping it would be a little bit more competitive, and I thought it was in the first half. I thought they did a pretty good job of containing Curry in the first half. But once Steph gets going, I mean, it honestly feels like someone just enters a cheat code in the system whenever Steph starts going off like that. And it's like there's just not much you can do. And with all those factors weighing against the Bulls, I just thought this is going to be a really tough game for them to win and to last those 4 quarters. And we saw obviously 26-point loss and just some disappointing play from Zach, kind of reverting to some of the, I don't know how you want to call it, but some of the issues that he's had in crunch time kind of showed up when the team started getting down big. He tried to put it all on his shoulders, and we've seen in the past where he's tried to do that, and it's had very mixed results. And he ended up with 0 assists and 7 turnovers in that game. And then Lonzo and DeMar just were cold all night. So that combination was like, good game, man. Good game. Let's chalk this one up as an L and move on to the next one.
Yeah, man. It's tough, man, because teams are going to. Not every team has a Gary Payton, the second that they can just literally play a box and one and just say, hey, GP or AKA the mitten, go handle, go do the best you can on Zach. Don't worry about anything else except for him. I don't think there's many teams that have a guy like that, that can just hound and stay with Zach, and which again, I don't think they did enough to help Zach free up a bit more. I don't think they should have ran Gary Payton through a lot of screens. Zach is. This is the other thing. They treat Zach like he's just not one of the most conditioned, athletic, just endurance-wise. Like, they treat him like he's just some regular Joe Schmo. This dude is in great shape. Like, use him. Run him around. Like, I just don't think they did enough with freeing up Zach. And also, it's like I said, first game without Vooch. Got to figure it out. And hopefully they look at film and they try some different things. But, yeah, you're right, man. Towards the end of the game, I felt like Zach, at the beginning of the game, even maybe in the middle of the game, was playing the game the right way. Trying to move the ball, make the extra pass. Okay, if they're going to play me this way, all right, play 4-on-4 basketball over there, and I'll just keep GP away. But it's just – it's tough, man, because, yes, he had a couple bad – he had 7 turnovers, but I felt like there were a couple that he had the right idea, it just didn't match up. But, sometimes I try, again, never going to touch the NBA. Never touch the NBA floor. Won't ever do that. But I kind of feel like, playing rec ball, right? You got a team and, guys aren't making shots. Guys don't have the same ability you have, but for some reason, just not putting up shots. And at some point, you're just going to be like, man, dude, I got to try. I can't just sit back and let this stuff happen. And that's the snowball. That's when it happens. It just, goes on where, you see Zach, doing some things that you're like, I get it. You feel like you can get this bucket, but at the same time, this is a damn good defensive team. So they're forcing, in so many words, it's like, okay, Zach, if you're going to try this, you're going to turn the ball over. We're giving you that pass. We're giving you that. If you're not going to make it, fine. But you just not going to do what you want to do. And when you have a guy like Draymond Green, I mean, he is, I understand people bag on him because he kicks people in the nuts and, he's a wild dude, in terms of energy. but like Draymond plays the game. He's just such a smart basketball player and great passer. It's so fun watching him. And obviously, my rooting interest is with the Bulls, and you want the Bulls to play well. But like, if you watch the game again and you just say, you know what, I know what the end result is with the Bulls. I'm just gonna take my mind out of that, for a second and just watch Draymond. Like, he's just, man, like, wow, man. Like, Draymond's fun to watch, man. He just does things the right way.
Yeah, no, he is. He is. And I mean, Steph and Draymond together are one of the greatest shows on earth. I personally don't enjoy watching Curry light us up, but I know a lot of people do in general. Like watching Curry step it up. I like when it's competitive and when the result isn't inevitable. And last night felt like it was only a matter of time before Steph realized that the Bulls weren't going to do anything, and he did, and he made it happen. So, but it just counts. It's one L. That's just one L. So we're 8-4, and we got a chance against the Clippers tomorrow, and then the Lakers on Monday. Both of whom have been struggling a lot. Although the Clippers, I feel like, have kind of turned on the Jets more recently, and I mean, Paul George is playing like an MVP candidate. So looking forward to seeing how they do with those games. But they don't have anybody with the type of offensive talent that Golden State has. I mean, Steph, after watching that game, I was like, all right, the Warriors are going to be in the finals and Steph's going to win the MVP. If he plays anything like that the rest of the year and they play anything like they've been playing and they get Clay back, like it's a wrap in the West. But let's talk about the two previous games, though, where I thought we saw a lot of positive things. So I know this game was tough. The Golden State game was tough to see Zach kind of revert back to some bad habits. But overall this year, I think he's been really, really excellent at making good decisions with the ball. His turnovers are down. He's still averaging very close to what he was averaging last year with a lot more help. And you can see that he hasn't been having to turn on the Jets as much or to put the team on his back like he has in years past. So I think that's going to be good for him. And this experience with Golden State is going to be a learning experience for him to say, hey, listen, even when you get in these situations like this, and you're going to be in that situation again sometime this year where the team's going to be missing shots and you're going to want to put it all on your back, that's not the way to win that game. And so he's just going to have to keep learning and growing. I mean, he's an amazing player. He works so hard. I have no doubt that he's going to continue to get better. He's only 20. He just turned 26. So no issues with Zach. I mean, it stinks that happened, but he's going to have to move on. And this team is still a really, really good team. I just think Golden State's on another level right now. And without Vooch, I didn't think we had much of a shot. So we'll see. But let's talk about the Nets game, which took place, was it Monday? I think it was Monday. I think that was a really, really solid win. They had a huge, huge blowout in the fourth quarter. It was like similar to what they did to the Celtics in the point differential in the fourth quarter. I think it was like 40-19 or something. Kevin Durant looked like an MVP as well. I mean, Kevin Durant's Kevin Durant. But I thought the Bulls just really, really took it to the Nets and just played a really solid game. And then I thought they did the same in Dallas or against Dallas. I thought they had two really, really nice games against two quality opponents. I know Dallas people have been saying they're kind of a mirage. They're not really like, they were 7-3, but they're like, their point differential suggests they should be a couple wins less than that. But it's Luka, man. It's Luka. So what did you think about those two victories? Oh, I can't hear you.
So my bad.
There we go.
So for the Dallas game, I thought for the most part they did really well on Luka guarding him. I think he went 6 for 18 or something like that. It wasn't the best shooting game for him, but I thought they did really good. What'd you say?
I feel like Luka always, every time I look at Luka's stat line, it's always 6 of 19. But he's still got like 25, 10, and 8 or something. But it's always like he always has some terrible percentage, but he's actually shooting.
Yeah, man, the Dallas game was fun. Which one did you want to do? Did you want to do Dallas, or did you want to talk about the Nets first?
Let's talk about the Nets first.
Okay.
I thought that was a statement victory.
Yes.
Because they had, other than Kyrie being out, they were there at full strength, and I thought Caruso made Harden's life miserable after that game. He was on him. And you're really happy.
I just feel like the Nets game was, like you said, just kind of like they beat the Jazz. But like I feel like the Nets game was like letting people know, like, we beat the Jazz, but that wasn't a one-time thing. Like we're here, so we're gonna let KD and Harden and this Nets team know that we're gonna be a contender in the East. And they played some good basketball. Obviously, Kevin Durant made some Kevin Durant plays.
38 points. He was 38 points. 11 rebounds on only 24 shots. He was phenomenal. That's
Kevin Durant. That's just so crazy. Kevin Durant has been that way his whole career. Like, he doesn't need that many shots to just drop 30 plus on you, and it's crazy. But like defensively, and one of the things too, like, watching both those games back, before we got to the Warriors, like, once again, like we said at the top of the show, just Vooch, man. Like, yes, he's had some tough shooting early in this season. But like just what he does offensively and also even defensively, like the dude, I feel like obviously I hope Vooch is totally fine. Like, I hope he's not, going through anything. But like, if you really just watch Vooch and some people, I think I saw on Twitter, like, just a bunch of trashing Vooch, you know what I mean? And it's just like, guys, like, this dude, Vooch, means so much to this team, like, so much to this team. And you may not think he's a great defender, which, he's not, but he is not horrible. And he does his best. For the most part, he's going to be deterring shots, keyword deterring. But like, you'd rather have that than somebody is just going to let things happen, however it's going to happen in the paint, So, but yeah, man, the Nets game it was fun. So I did have a few clips. Let me see which one we could go with here. Let me get the clip ready first.
And also, Ed Sheeran says he likes to match up with the Nets in a playoff series. Besides the fact that KD might score 40, might average 40, win the series on his own. But I do think we match up fairly well with Harden and Durant. No one can guard Durant. He's just going to shoot over you no matter what. But I think Lonzo and Caruso are probably two of the best options you could have for the Bulls to guard those guys with. So I think, I'm telling you, people have said that they don't think the Bulls have a team that can work well in the playoffs, and I just completely disagree with that. I mean, I know that the reason people say that is because of the defensive limitations of Vucevic, and of Zach and DeMar, and I get that, but you've seen how they put it together on defense, and I think offensively they're going to have to guard all three of those guys, and all three of DeMar, Zach, and Vooch are extremely good half court, get you a bucket type players. It's going to be a really tough squad, I think, if and when the Bulls make the playoffs. If they're all healthy, it's going to be, I think they have a good shot against almost anyone in the East outside of, I don't know, the Bucks. I think the Bucks are going to be our hardest because I don't think we have anyone that can guard Giannis.
Yeah.
But I think we've got the horses to have a really great playoff squad. We'll see. It's a long ways away. Obviously, we're only 12 games in the season. But the Bulls have impressed me. So you said you got some clips.
Yes, sir. I just wanted
You're right.
What'd you say?
I was just saying that Nippy was saying that the offense relies on Vooch so much. Yeah, completely, 100%. So, what was I going to say? Oh yeah, about the playoff comment. Like, my whole deal is, yes, defensively, there are some questions. You can't
just off the bat, just like, oh, they don't know what they're talking about if they're worrying about defense. Like, no, like that's a question in a defensive in a playoff series when teams have the ability to game plan. Like how are the Bulls going to react? And there's totally nothing wrong with like thinking that. But at the same time, if you think about it offensively, like if you just look at like the Nuggets, right? So half court it's more of a half court game in the playoffs. And like to be able to have a versatile big like Vooch that can play up top, but also you can throw the ball to him on the block. And if you remember like the Nuggets where they would have Jokic on the block on the whichever block, but Jamal Murray would be at the top of the key, like right next to him, because it's almost like pick your poison. Are you going to dig? Are you going to dig off of Jamal Murray, or are you going to let Jokic go one-on-one? And if you dig off of Jamal Murray, it's an easy pass to Jamal Murray for an open 3-ball. And picture Zach in that situation. You're not leaving Zach, right? And so defense, you got to scheme up, okay, where are we going to send the double from? And that's where Vooch comes into play even more, because he's one of the better passers out of the post that there is in the game right now. And so, like, I get it defensively, but offensively, like, I think people forget too. You got to guard us too. You got to guard the Bulls too. Like, you got to stop the Bulls from scoring as well. So, I can't wait for that. And again, I hope that it gets there. But I'm not going to try to get too ahead of myself. Yeah. But what do you want to go? What's up?
Well, I want you to kind of keep this question from Luis in mind as you go through these clips, and maybe you can answer it up front. But how do you feel about what Billy Donovan has done in his, not only in setting up in his schemes to his game planning for the actual games, but making adjustments in the game? What have you seen as you've gone through the film from Donovan?
So with Billy, honestly, defensively, I really like it. I think Billy does a good job of, especially with the Vooch, because he just somehow like created this master plan. And again, shout out Chip Jones, man, Chip Jones NBA on Twitter. But like he painted the picture really well. But like he did a really good job of basically having Vooch play higher in the drop. Sometimes he's not really been deep drop at all this season, but if he's going to be the deepest he's been is like maybe like closer to that free throw line, which is some people call the aggressive drop. And sometimes even higher, sometimes he's hedging. But that just puts a lot of pressure on the backside. But again, like this team is filled with athletic wings with long wingspans. So they're able to, get in passing lanes. They're able to, stunt and get back. They're able to get over to show at the rim. And I mean, it's been fun. I thought Billy did a good job. The best he could in the Warriors game when he, I think they came out. The Warriors came out of a timeout in the second or first quarter. I can't remember. But you could see the Bulls were up, and you could see that the Warriors like, oh, you know what? All right, we're gonna go at DeMar. We're gonna. That's how we're gonna get our offense going. We're gonna go at DeMar, force rotations, and find shooters. And you could tell, like he called the timeout like right away. As soon as that first play happened, he called it right away. He got DJJ in there. So he does a good job of like noticing when things need to be fixed, and he does it really well. But offensively, again, like there's some things I'll show in clips, but offensively, I just wish they would do a little bit more. I mean, again, like people that are in the chat, people that are going to listen, like just watch the way the Warriors offense goes. Like so much movement.
Yep.
I mean, it's obviously they're the top of the cream of the crop, you know what I mean? But like you would want your offense to look a bit more like that, where it's not just pounding the rock. It's, move the ball, cut. And when you have a smart player like Draymond that you can just sit at the top of the key or even on the low block that can make the passes, that makes it so much better. And I think we have a guy that can do that in Vooch. So I wish he would just do that a bit more, but you never know, what they're doing.
Yeah. And Now, obviously, some of that has to do with the fact that Steph Curry is probably the most difficult person to guard in the league. I mean, I think so. I don't think there's anyone that commands the respect and the terror that Steph Curry anywhere outside the three-point line commands, right? And he's also an extremely good finisher at the rim. Like, he uses his space to his advantage so well, and he can get his shot off at any time. And so I think Steve Kerr's done an excellent job of setting the Warriors up to maximize that terror, right? To maximize the fear of a Steph Curry pull-up three. Yep. And you're right. I mean, he does that. Now, we don't have anybody on the team that just strikes fear into the heart of every opponent. But, on the right night, Zach and Vooch and DeMar can all light those dudes up. And I do agree with you. They need to be a little bit more creative. You saw what the Warriors were doing defensively last night, and they did throw a box and one against Zach. So the box and one is you have your four defenders in a box like formation, kind of in that zone, and then you have one guy, and it was Gary Payton the second, who's just guarding man to man with Zach. And that's something I think the Raptors. I want to say the Raptors did that in the finals against Steph after KD and Clay went down, because they said, we're going to make Steph beat us one-on-one, and we're just going to do a box and one, and it worked out to their very effectively. And they were throwing some zone out there. They were doing some different things. And you saw the box and one versus Zach was very, very effective. So I think that's going to be interesting to see how Donovan. Now, they may not see that again. Right. With Vooch out, you may see it a little bit more if Vooch is out, because now they've got less offensive options to go to. So,
one thing I would have done, and this may seem off the wall, but one thing I would have done. That game was, you said a 26-point loss. It was, right?
Yep.
I probably would have threw Marco out there. I would have. I wanted to see how he would have played. Just at the end, just to game's over. Just run some different things through him and see how comfortable he is.
Hey, we saw some Tyler Cook.
Yeah, hey, Tyler Cook had a nice dunk, man. He had a nice dunk. But
I mean, game was over, but it's fine.
Exactly. And I think where the Bulls needed Vooch the most was that short roll situation. When in offense, where they throw that double at DeMar or throw that double at Zach, they got it to Alizé. Alizé was slow on his reads,
And the hands, man. Yeah. The hands were a little sloppy.
Man, and he had a couple putbacks that he should have made that that would have helped a bit in certain. Like, I felt like he had some good rebounds, and his misses led to them getting out, and I felt like, man, you got to make your bunnies. You got to make your bunnies. But
yeah. Oh, and I want to say one thing about that. So Alizé Johnson and Tony Bradley had to step in Vooch's absence.
Yeah,
neither of them command the type of offensive respect, the type of defensive respect that the Warriors would have given Vooch. So I can't sit here and blame Tony and Alizé for that game. Like, they did the best that they could, but their limitations showed, right? Like, Tony Bradley, he just doesn't have the passing chops that Vooch has. He just doesn't have that, and he doesn't command the respect to take advantage of it and create space, right? One of the reasons that Vooch can make good passes is because the defender can't slouch off of him, because he commands that respect. He's got that mid-range, that baseline game, that back to the basket game that Tony and Alizé just don't have. And so some of Vooch's, I mean, he's a great passer, but some of that passing acumen is there, and those passes are there because of the gravity that Vooch has. And so Tony Bradley just doesn't have that type of gravity. And so you have to, run and dribble handoffs with Tony Bradley isn't going to be as effective as it would with Vooch, or that short roll. It's just not going to work the same. And so I agree with you with Marco. It would have been fun to kind of see him in that role for a minute, just to see what it looked like, because I mean, they're not doing a scouting report on Marko Simonovic. They're not, but he can shoot a little bit. He's got some skills offensively. He can handle the ball up, put on the floor. So Yeah, I mean, nothing against Alize and Tony. Like, they did their best.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, I thought Tony in the first half actually did really, really well in his stints. But you could just tell that the offense was just I don't know. It was like groaning. It was just groaning by.
I guess the real reason why I wanted to see him is I felt like coming into the season, you didn't know how. I mean, obviously you knew the Zach and Vooch pick and roll was going to be heavy. You knew DeMar and Vooch 2-man pick and roll was going to be heavy. But in terms of like scheme and what they wanted to do on the defensive end, tempo, you didn't know how they were going to go about it because people thought, how can they go fast if they got Vooch on the floor? So I didn't think, Marco coming into anywhere close to the team at the time. But with these injuries, with Pat Williams going, like, oh my God, Pat Williams at small ball 5. Anyway, but I'm not gonna get myself mad. But but with all these injuries, and it would be nice to kind of see Marco because I think he would. One of his strengths is being faster than the other big, being fat. Like he runs hard, he runs fast. He's also like again, like I saw in some clips when he was playing in the Adriatic League, like he was able to make reads. Like I think he's a smart passer, but again, the game is fast. It's a different speed, but that's why I would like to have seen him play. And he has, like you said, he has that pick and pop ability. Just to, like I said, nobody's saying this dude is going to be, he's going to take over Vooch's spot. No, but like you got to find some versatility because the guys that came in, after Tony Bradley, and even when Tony Bradley was out there, but like the guys that came in after Tony, it's kind of, it's tough, man. So you need a big that can, okay, that dude, I've seen him play before. He can shoot the ball a little bit. We might have to show our hand a little bit. Just be able to space the floor a little bit more for the offense. And I think he can do that. But I kind of feel like he's at the end of the bench. But like, if you brought him up and that game was out of hand, why not throw him out there and let's see what he can do?
Yeah,
just to see.
Yeah. And I know you're about to show some film here. I just want to make a small comment about Lonzo Ball.
Yep.
One of the reasons I love Lonzo Ball's fit with the Bulls is because he is not going to be relied on as a consistent scorer on a nightly basis. He doesn't have to. And because he's a shooter and most of his offense comes beyond the three-point line, there's going to be a lot of shooting variance. So like against the Mavericks, he made 7 to 10 from 3. And he was really like 7 to 9. And he took like this one heave at the end of the quarter or something. But he had a great shooting night. And then last night, he had a terrible shooting night. And you notice whenever he gets inside the three-point line and he takes that little jumper, I don't know about you, but every time he takes a 3, I think it's going in. And every time he takes a 2, I think it's someone get the rebound is what I'm thinking. And I don't want people to think that I don't know. The reason we like Lonzo and the reason he fits so well on this team is because we don't have to rely on his scoring. He does so much more stuff for this team rather than scoring. The scoring is more of a perk than a necessity. But with Vooch out, he becomes that third scorer, right? He becomes the guy that you rely on to do that scoring. And that's really tough. That's really tough to rely on just 3-point shots as a consistent scorer. The best scorers in the league have multiple ways that they can score. And Lonzo right now, his mid-range game just hasn't been effective yet this year. Maybe it will. He's never been a guy that gets the rim a lot. So he doesn't have it, and he doesn't take a lot of free throws. So he doesn't have an easy way to get himself going when his shot's not falling. And so that's going to be something to look at with Lonzo. If he gets off the hot starts versus not, we're going to have to find some scoring somewhere else. And that's why Vooch is the biggest loss of the season. Like you cannot. This team relies on Vucevic so much, whether he's scoring or not. He is so important to the offense, so important to the defense, and so important to help other guys get going. So anyways, that's all I wanted to say about Lonzo. But I know some people were like, man, like Lonzo did this, or Lonzo, had a tough shooting night. He needs to be better. I don't think we should be thinking about Lonzo that way. That's not why Lonzo is here.
Right.
You know? And he doesn't have in his bag right now easy ways to get him going if he's having a tough shooting night. He just doesn't have it right now. And so that's not something I think we should be relying upon. So, all right, anyways, let's get to some film. I know I said we weren't going to talk as much about the Warriors game. And even on Twitter, I was like, I'm going to pretend this game doesn't exist. But it did show exactly why Vooch is so important to this team.
Yeah.
So anyways, let's talk about the Nets game.
Just real quick, just to add to it. I just feel you know, that's okay. We can move on to it because that'll open a whole new Pandora's box of, you know, more conversation about that game. But let's see here. Let's get to the Nets here. So the first one, I kind of wanted to talk about Vooch in the short roll. Let's see here. Let's see. Am I pulled up here?
Yep.
Okay.
I got you.
So so very early in the game, but like just a good example of like what Vooch adds to this team, what would have helped in the Warriors game. Anyway, so here we go. So we got Zach, who passed the ball up to DeMar on the left wing. DeMar tries to attack KD by driving down the left side of the floor here. Obviously, KD is a pretty good defender for, you know, who he is as an offensive player. DeMar gets it out to Vooch. Vooch quickly swings it to Zach to set a ball screen. Zach comes off. The ball immediately. That's one thing. Like, Zach is very predictable passer. But
yes, you know, he's going to Vooch every single time.
When you
have anybody but Vooch.
When you have a big like Blake, who's, you know, that's gonna be, you know, it's gonna be there. But that ball is right on time. He gets it there to him. Blake is like, if you just rewind it back here, like where the pass is and Blake's feet. Look what his feet are just in cement. So
that's not.
Vooch catches the ball. He's out of position. James Harden has to be there for help, and that right there is why you miss Vooch, because if you're not in the right position, you're big, that is, and they are playing drop here. If he's not going to be in the right position, dropping back, staying at the same depth as Vooch on the roll, then there's going to have to be help, because Vooch is one of the best roll men in the game. So if you don't help, he's going to give you a basket. So if you do help, Vooch is very good at finding where the open spot is and the open shooter is. And that's what he does. He finds Javonte Green in the corner, who is actually, you know, when he shoots from the corner, when Javonte shoots from the corner, I'm okay with that. You know, sometimes I feel like, you know, I don't know, like anywhere above the break, I don't want him shooting that. But in the corner, I feel like he's made a good bit.
He was taking a bunch of above the break threes against the Warriors. I'm like, this ain't it, brother. This ain't it. This is not, because you got him shoot. I think I tweeted it. I was like, listen, man, you have a shootout between Javonte Green and Steph Curry. That's not going to end well for you. Like, this is not going to happen. So, and nothing against Javonte. Like, Javonte's doing the best he can. I appreciate him. He's doing what he's supposed to do. But that's on the Bulls. You can't run that type of offense against Steph Curry and hope to come out on top. You can't be running above the break Javonte threes. Like, he's pretty good. He's been pretty good in the corners. And even that's actually something I've noticed is our quote unquote bad shooters, like, you know, from three, DeMar, Javonte, DJJ, Troy Brown Jr., they're all fairly good in the corners. So if you can keep them in that corner spot, I think that's pretty good offense for the most part. But above the break threes, I only want Zach and Vooch and Lonzo and Caruso taking those.
Yeah. And the other thing too, like for the viewers, just look how quick that pass is. Like if you remember back at the Warriors game, how slow the roll man would read the floor, right? And when they would know where the pass was, it'd be too late. They'd be back where they needed to be in order to take that passing lane, the passing window away, right? But as soon as Vooch catches this, I mean, it's like literally, you know, it's quick. He gets it right out of his hands and straight into the corner. Boom, quick. Like it's quick. You know what I mean? And even Javonte, if you can give him the ball with a closeout, he has a good enough handle to get by a closeout. You know,
he's athletic. He get that first step. He can make his way to the rim on the baseline, and then you can either dunk it or you can find someone on the weak side. He's been pretty good at that this year. I think he's done a great job at that. He knows his role.
So another one. I will stay on the Vooch side here. So Lonzo brings the ball up, swings it to Zach, who comes off a pin down. Lonzo's getting ready to come off what we call a hawk screen on the right side of the floor. Comes off. Lonzo is emptying out to the left side corner. You're getting a lift here from Javonte Green. You're going to get a lift from DeMar as well. And Zach's going to come off this step up here from the step up ball screen from Vooch here. I'm thinking about the wrong play here. My bad. So I think what did he get tipped away? I can't remember this. I did so many clips just in a little bit. Let me see. Oh yeah, so Bruce Brown tips it.
Oh, this is amazing. This is a really interesting play because it looks like Vooch is going to come set a screen.
Yes,
and instead he just Zach passes him the ball and he just dives right to the basket instead of setting that screen. It's like almost like a go screen, but you get the pass as you're setting the go screen.
Exactly. It looks like
just slips it. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So Bruce Brown knocks it away. Bruce Brown, and that's the other thing too. I think Zach, that thumb might be hurting him a bit more than because if you reach in, like I think teams are doing that. Like I don't remember a lot of teams like really reaching in on Zach like this. Like I feel like it's in the scouting report. Like, hey, he's gonna play through this thumb. If you can get the hand on the ball, like try your best because like in the Warriors game, I think Gary Payton got him a couple times with just reaching in. I think he's just really trying to protect that thumb. But yeah, he loses it. But this is the part about Vooch that I love here is, the dude is like not known defensively at all. He's not known for his like foot speed on defense, but on offense, right? Like he's very good at attacking closeouts. This is not a closeout here, but like it's kind of similar where he can actually put the ball on the deck and attack the paint, get a paint touch, and able to find the shooter. And like that, we missed that. Like this is very good stuff by Vooch. We're turning, what do they say? Turning chicken shit into chicken salad or something like that. Is that what it is?
Yes, it is.
Like this is what Vooch can do for you. He can come off, draw help. I mean, look at that. James steps over, and then even KD comes over because this is a mismatch, and finds the shooter in DeMar. DeMar gets in where he wants to get there, bucket, and that's he helps create easy offense. Like, and by doing that, like what I mean by that is like what you want to do as an offense, right? Is that obviously at the point of attack, you want a good defender for the opposing team, for the Bulls going against the team. Like you want a good point of attack defender that can stop the point, what they want to do first, right? But offensively, you're trying to beat that and also get bend a defense. And by bending a defense, basically that means like you're drawing help, getting some attention to a star player like Zach LaVine or Vooch, and making a team have to compress and then getting that ball out and creating advantages, right? You create an advantage. When a player is coming out to close out to get a hand up for a three-point shot, that's a tough position. There's not many players that can close out controlled and be able to move their feet and slide their feet and stay in front. So most of the time, if you can create a closeout, basketball player like you would hope like guys like Javonte Green, Lonzo, Caruso, they're able to beat guys off a closeout and either draw help or get to the basket and finish. And that's what Vooch does. He creates those opportunities, which just like what he did here, he gets into the paint, gets a paint touch, kicks it to DeMar, and now you get a closeout. Oh, well, nobody wanted to, but but usually you would get a closeout there, and DeMar gets to a spot and he knocks it down. So I mean that's just simple stuff, but like what you miss when you don't have Vooch.
Yeah, you just see how fast he is, that reaction time. I mean, as soon as KD takes that first step, he's right to the basket. I mean, he's right to the pass. I mean, he just immediately doesn't think about it. He just knows he's such a smart player. Yeah. Vooch is such a good player. That's why I was really, really worried about that Warriors game. I can't stop talking about that dumb game. But
dude, you know what it is, man? It's like before that game, we didn't get smacked like that. You know what I mean? So it's no. and it's just a wake up call. You know what I mean? It's a wake up call, wake up game. You know, it's one of those things. Like, woo, okay. Let's see how this team responds.
Yeah, hold on.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. No, it's a game that needed to happen.
Oh yeah.
I wish that Vooch could have been there, but I think Billy Donovan even said it in his presser. He thinks it's going to be helpful to the Bulls in the long run to learn how to play without Vooch.
Yeah.
Just in general, right?
You're not going to be able to play a box and one when Vooch is there. You won't. Yeah. Okay. Well, put Draymond on Vooch, fine, but he's going to have to get some help at some point, and Vooch's going to find the shooter. But so like if you don't have Vooch or a guy like that, you can play box and one, you know, because you're not worried about DeMar as a 3-point shooter. So you just sit in drive lanes, right? And they played it really well. I mean, the Warriors played a very, very good, sound defense. Man, it was tough. Anyway, so back to the Nets game. So me and Kris and others on Twitter have talked about what we want Lonzo to do more often in half-court offense. In half-court offense. I want to say it again, half-court offense, because I think people, you know, think, oh, well, he's going to handle the ball sometimes. Like, yeah, of course. Like, in this clip, he's handling the ball. There's nothing wrong with that. But, like, in terms of, like, running pick and rolls after pick and roll after pick and roll, that's just not something that in my opinion, I don't want to see Lonzo do as much as little as possible is what I would like. But I think in this clip shows kind of like what we want to see from Lonzo more often. This guy here, DeMar DeRozan, I can't wait. Like, I feel like he needs to be our half-court point guard. Like, he needs to have the ball in his hands in half-court, make Lonzo more of a floor spacer, and create more spacing for guys and more. You know, it's just I hope that is just an experiment thing. Like I know in our group chat that we've talked that, you know, some guys have talked about, hey, it's experimenting with Lonzo. But for me, it's like if the experimenting isn't leading to wins, like I'm, you know, like, I don't know. I'm just, you know, maybe experimenting something else, you know, have him in short roll. I don't know. Have him as a screener more often. Try experimenting something else, you know, but that's just me. That's my opinion, you know,
sure.
So I don't want to put anything in anybody else's mouth.
Well, and we've seen him run some basic actions with a little Vooch pick and roll where Lonzo will get to the elbow and then he'll make a short pass to Vooch on the other elbow for an open jumper. Those types of things I think are perfectly fine. But I think the reason it works is because Lonzo doesn't get to the rim very often, doesn't draw free throws, doesn't draw fouls very often. And, you know, as we've talked about that mid-range shot, that little pull-up that he does around the elbow sometimes hasn't been going in yet this season, not a very high clip. So after you get about to the elbow, the defenses aren't going to be respecting Lonzo as much because he's much more known as a long-range shooter, which he's very, very good at, right? He was up until the last game, he was like 45% from three. And he was doing really, really good on both catch and shoot and pull-up opportunities, which is something that he's improved on. His pull-up opportunities, his pull-up efficiency has improved quite a bit this year. So I agree with you, Larro. I think DeMar is so effective with the ball in his hands. And on this team, we've got guys like Caruso and Lonzo and Zach and Vooch that can all operate and have gravity on the perimeter. It just makes DeMar's passing and paint penetration that much more effective. So we talked, I mentioned earlier about Curry. Now, Curry is a great shooter, and defenses fear the Curry pull-up three. And so you want to if you're the Warriors, you want to maximize that fear and run all your stuff to bend the defenses to that kind of action. And so you want to do the same thing with DeMar. If you see that it's so effective when DeMar has the ball in his hands because of the fear of him getting into the mid-range and doing what he did to the Celtics, going 15 for 20 for 30 something, you know, like he's insane. Yeah. And so you want to maximize that as much as possible when he's on the floor. If you have DeMar sitting in the corner, he's been okay at that corner three. He's taken more than he has in the past. but that's not his game. And if you're doing that so you can run some pick and rolls with Lonzo and try and get Lonzo a mid-range shot or a drive to the basket, you're taking the worst aspects of both of their offense and doing them at the same time. What you want to do, you want to minimize the amount of possessions you have doing that kind of thing. What you want to do is you want DeMar with the ball in his hands because that maximizes his strengths.
Yep.
And you want him kicking out to Lonzo, who's an amazing shooter from the perimeter. That maximizes his strength as a perimeter shooter. And it also puts Lonzo in position to make passes against an already tilted defense. If you're trying to get Lonzo to be the one that tilts the defense in the first place, that's not maximizing his current skill set.
Nope.
And so, anyways, I just wanted to expand on what you were saying, but there were too many times in the Philly losses, especially, I noticed this, where Lonzo was the one with the ball in his hands, and he's the shooter, and Caruso was doing the same thing, where Lonzo and Caruso were the ones with the ball in their hands, trying to break down the defenses, and then they were kicking out. When they did find an advantage, they're kicking out to Derek Jones Jr. or DeMar, who are some of our worst shooters. You're like, no. You want DeMar with the ball in his hands, kicking out to Lonzo, kicking out to Caruso, kicking out to Zach. Like, what are you? You want to have the proportion of those shots be in the right direction, and I think they've done a better job since those Philly games putting them in the right action. So, anyways, a long preamble to the clip you're about to show.
I'm doing that. Everything you said, I'm right behind it. But yeah, so this is what I like here, right? So Lonzo, we're on it here. Lonzo comes up the right side of the floor, and it's almost like Vooch said. It's almost like he's just running in the way of Joe Harris, just to not like a brush, but it's just like he's just in the way. And
it's almost a threat of a screen.
Right, exactly. And Lonzo swings his DeMar on the left side, who comes down, sets dribble handoff to Zach. Let me slow it down here. So Lonzo swings it over to DeMar. DeMar handoff with Zach. Zach swings it to the elbow with Vooch, who pops up. Zach sets a pin down. DeMar splits that, bends the defense, right? So this is exactly what we talked about here. So pin down, DeMar. It's like a split, but at the same time, some people will call that a blade cut as well, which is basically a face cut. But he actually ends up like back cutting James here because James thinks he's coming up for a dribble handoff. That's some of the stuff that you can do when teams are like, oh, this team just runs the DHOs all the time. They just lull them. You know what I mean?
You fake it. Well, here they're faking it because like, oh, here we go. They're going to do a pin down screen to get Zach open on the wing, right, coming up to get that pass from Vooch, and instead, DeMar splits it and dives to the basket, which kind of sets the screen. It actually, kind of like just gets in the way of Zach's defender, and so now he's like even. Trying to get out of that, and so he gets a dive to the basket for free out of that action.
It just stresses these two, right?
Yes.
Oh, James, you switching? I'm staying. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing about? And then once they, if they haven't talked about this before the game, in real time, they're gonna be like, "Whoa!" It's gonna catch them off guard,
right? And that's what happens. Who's guarding Zach? Is that KD?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. So, and that's the thing is because they're expecting a pin down screen, KD is planning to go with Zach, and Harden is going to go with DeMar.
Yep.
But because all of a sudden it's like DeMar is cutting to the basket, and KD is already like taking steps with Zach, and now and as you mentioned, now that there's that confusion that stresses that defense, and now they're like, if they both go towards Zach, then DeMar gets a free dunk. If they both go towards DeMar, then Zach gets an open three on the wing.
Yep.
Or sets up something else. And so this is the way you should use the gravity of those three players.
Yes. And this is actually, that's, you reminded me, but this is exactly like before the season. How are they going to make these three guys fit? Like how is that going to be met? Like, this is it. Use them, have them involved, by screening for each other in actions. And this is what you get. right? So when he splits it, James Harden is behind him, so Bruce Brown has to come step down. And DeMar is so good at just being, he understands and make the next pass, right? Swings it over to Javonte, who's in the right corner.
Now,
Javonte waits for Joe Harris to come down, and he swings it to Lonzo, who's going to be wide open for a three-point shot. And he knocks it down. Like that is what you like with Lonzo. That is, man, right? That's what you want to see more of, with Lonzo being the guy getting the open three rather than Lonzo driving and finding DeMar DeRozan, like you said, right? Finding DeMar DeRozan. And it's like DeMar has been hitting at a high clip for his, for him. But like we know there's a little bit of regression to the mean, okay? That happens. So rather have that flipped and have a possession to end like this.
Yeah.
Like, that's exactly what you want.
Can you go back to when Lonzo gets that pass?
Oh, yes.
So, yeah, here's your action. DeMar cuts, passes Javonte, passes Lonzo. Pause that right here. Now, you're using him right now as the finisher of your play.
Yep.
To take that open three, which is exactly this is. I mean, this is a beautiful play to get Lonzo, who's the best, maybe the best shooter, from three on the team right now, an open three. Yep. But, let's say Harris doesn't close out because Javonte's not as good of a shooter. And Javonte makes that pass, and then, Lonzo doesn't have an open three. This is the type, but this is the type of thing you want Lonzo to be able to also take advantage of. Because if the defense is already tilted at this point, right? You've seen they're now helping the helper. Bruce Brown had to step in as a low man to guard DeMar at the rim. He passes out to Javonte. Then Joe Harris has to sprint to Javonte in the corner because that's a corner three. This is where Lonzo is really effective as a ball handler in the half court. This is where Lonzo makes his money as a playmaker. So not as the initial breakdown of not the person who breaks down the defense initially, but reading an already tilted defense and making the right pass. And Vooch is really good at this too. But that's where you want Lonzo to be doing most of his damage, either as the open shooter or as the guy that can make that next pass to get the best shot, to find someone cutting to the rim, finding Zach on the wing, finding Vooch at the top of the key, whatever the pass is. That's where you trust Lonzo to make the right pass, because he's so good at finding the right play out of a tilted defense. So when you talk about Lonzo being a playmaker in the half court, that's the type of situation I would like to see more of, where he has the chance to either take the shot himself to finish a play that has been made to get him an open three, or to get him a dunk or whatever the play is, or to make that next read. And to find an even better shot, because Lonzo is one of the best in the league, I think, at doing that, at finding. He's so smart. He sees the game steps ahead in that way, and I think Caruso has some of that ability too, and a lot of the best playmakers in the league, Jokic, Luka, LeBron, they can see that Lonzo has that ability, that cerebral intelligence, or whatever you want to call it, that feel for the game. He's got that at a high level. The difference between him and guys like Luka and LeBron is those other guys are really good at creating the initial advantage, and that's what makes them so dangerous. Lonzo has not developed that ability as much as I think he would like from a point guard, and that's why I think where there's that disconnect when people talk about him as a point guard. That's the limitation that he still has, and I don't know if he'll ever be able to do that or not. I have no idea, but that's why he fits so well on this team, is because we don't need him to do that all the time. We have guys that can create that advantage and are good enough passers to get it to Lonzo to make that extra read.
Yeah, I was talking to at Canyon Driver on Twitter. He covers the Lakers. Yes, yeah. I was talking to him, and and he brought up a great point. And I actually, like the basketball nut I am, I went back and watched a couple of UCLA games with Lonzo, and he was like, I think some of the things that hurt Lonzo is that at UCLA, when he was running pick and roll, there was movement happening as well. Like it wasn't a set defense guys sitting in the corner, guys sitting at the top of the key, and he's literally the guy, just trying to create things happening. At UCLA, like they already had, maybe there was an exchange happening on the weak side. Maybe there was a back cut happening while the pick and roll was going on. So like the defense couldn't just focus just on the pick and roll. And he said that he just thought that is something that fooled a lot of people in terms of like what he could, be out of the pick and roll of the NBA. And I thought that was a really cool point. I went back and he's like, totally right, man. Like, I'm pretty sure he did a lot of tape watch because he follows the Lakers. So, it makes a lot of sense that he knew that. And that was a really cool point about that. I just wanted to bring that up. I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, because a lot of people talk about his UCLA days as like the poster, the example. Like, hey, like look, Lonzo can do these things. Look at his UCLA tape. Yeah, as you mentioned, they're running stuff off ball to get the defense tilted to help Lonzo, right? To help Lonzo attack a defense that is scrambling for because of off ball actions. Because Lonzo has the ability to make that right pass. So. I know this has been for some reason like a really big sticking point with certain people that really enjoy Lonzo's game and think that he is this amazing half court creator. I think he is an amazing half court creator in certain situations, but I think those situations are something that this team can put him in more than any other team that he's been with so far. So that's why I think he fits really well, but I don't see him being the guy running a high pick and roll and dive into the basket, find an open man, because he just doesn't have that type of gravity as the ball handler getting into the paint. He just doesn't have that kind of gravity in the paint, and he doesn't have the finishing or pull up or floater, mid range, any of that ability right now at a high enough rate to get the respect from defenses you need to get those defenses tilted. To make that open pass. So anyways,
that's what he has to add. And you said he has to add that floater or runner. He has to add something because I don't think he's young. So
maybe if he's Denzel Valentine's number, he can get that floater game going.
Hey, maybe he can hit up Thad Young, get that little flip shot. You know what I mean?
I love it. But yeah, man, Thad Young needs more minutes in San Antonio. Come on.
Oh man.
Come on now. We spent we spent an hour on like 2 clips now.
I know.
I swear every week we do this, Larro. Every week I'm like, I don't know if we're gonna have enough clips to take up enough time. And sure enough, an hour goes by and we've used 1 clip, 2 clips. What are we doing here? All right, let's move through this a little bit.
So we got DeMar coming up on the left side of the floor. Lonzo comes to the left side, but he kind of swings back over. Let me go back a little bit. So he comes to the left side. He swings back over. Zach gets a split screen almost, but it's not. It's kind of like a flat screen, people would say. Comes off of that, but then gives a ghost to DeMar as if he's going to screen Bruce Brown here. Cuts to the lane line. DeMar gets to the elbow, pump fake, swings it over to Javonte, who's at the right wing, and he quickly swings it to Lonzo. And this is the thing. I want Lonzo shooting as close to 10 threes as possible during the game. Like I don't like the fact that he's able to get this shot off over KD and just wet it. Like that says a lot to me. Like that says a lot. That says a lot. Like I want him to shoot the ball. Like KD's wingspan is not small. Okay, for him to be able to shoot that ball with that comfortable, over that closeout with that hand up, that says a lot. You want that guy to shoot the ball. And again, like you said, play finisher. Being able to put him in positions to where he's the guy taking that shot when it's a swing, and somebody.
If you pause it where DeMar pulls up, because if you go back to where DeMar pulls up, now he's got this open jumper. It looks like he's going to take this jumper.
Yep.
But I think it is Bruce Brown that closes out on him fast enough where DeMar tries to get him in the air with a pump fake.
Yep.
And then realizes he's got to kind of reset this play.
Mm-hmm.
He resets his play by kicking it out to passing back out to Javonte. This to me, if you, pausing it right there, I just think there's nothing there. I mean, you see Zach on the other wing, calling for the ball. Like, all right, let me run something else here.
Right.
And look at how fast this play ends. If you click it, that shouldn't be there. But that's the confidence of Lonzo Ball shooting from the three. That's what we need from him. He just made something out of nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a good play, but the defense recovered in time to make that shot tough on DeMar. Tough enough where he felt like he needed to pump fake and then pass it when they didn't bite.
But that's kind of why you want him off ball a little bit more, because I mean, let's say Lonzo was the one doing with the ball. That swing goes to DeMar, and maybe DeMar hits it, but over a closeout from KD, who knows? But like you did, but like having him in that position, that's where you want Lonzo. I would rather Lonzo be the guy that takes that three than Javonte Green, DJJ. That's just what I think. We both are on the same spot there.
Yeah.
But
if Lonzo's taking a corner three at the end of your possession, that's a good possession.
Oh yeah.
Regardless of the result, that's a good shot. That's
a good
shot. Hey, Spook Longley says maybe Bulls 101 needs a point guard so we can get our act together here.
He said that.
It's like the team over at Bulls beat. Hey man, you send us some figures, we'll let you know.
Right.
You said it's your best offer. I'm just kidding, but luckily we don't have a time limit. The time limit is how long people are willing to listen to us, which so far I appreciate everyone who's stuck with us.
Seriously, I can't even see who's all in there because I just got my my clips up, but appreciate y'all staying and listening, if you know what I mean. So
Salim's here. Let it fly, Alonzo. That's right, baby.
Oh yeah, all day.
10 threes. Hey, he's only shooting 7 threes a game right now. Bump that up. 8, 9, 10. Let's go.
Seriously. Lonzo, if you listen to brother, shoot that ball. But
he's been doing it with confidence though. We just need to give him a little bit more attempts. He's been doing it. I'm very impressed. I'm very happy with what Lonzo's been doing so far.
No doubt.
Other than missing that little mid range, and that I don't know if that's on him or if that's just the way they design their offense. And if it's the latter, then they gotta cut that out. We need Lonzo to shoot more from three.
His pull up, like his feet are like so. Anyway, but so we've had a couple, some good clips, right? So people are gonna recognize this, and I know you're gonna recognize this, and Salim's gonna recognize this, and everybody that watched this game is gonna recognize this. But this is something I think I said it to you or Salim. I can't remember who I said it to, but I was saying that like Zach LaVine is pretty lucky that Vooch had this tough of a start offensively, because I think the talk of the town would be, I think Zach has been pretty bad. I defensively, off ball, like last season, I felt like he was taking a turn. Obviously not that big of a turn, but like you could see he was trying. He was engaged off ball, on ball. He's, I think he's still okay on ball, but off ball, like I feel like he went back. He's going back to his old ways, and I'm holding him to his standard. Like if he didn't say what he said this summer, like I'd be like, this is just same old Zach. Hopefully he gets better, but whatever. But he said that he wants to be a better defender. So I'm holding.
He said he didn't even say that. He said, I want to be on an all defensive team.
That is what yeah, he did say that. He definitely said that. But that's what I'm holding him to. I'm holding him to that standard.
This is playoff P. You call yourself playoff P, you better perform. So you're telling me you want to be all defensive. You can't let stuff like what we're about to show you happen.
Seriously.
not with the regularity it's been happening with Zach so far this season.
Man. But yeah, so
bad. Yeah.
Patty Mills gets the ball here. Javonte's guarding ball. So they kind of give KD like two options here. KD has an option to come off a zipper. So coming off like this pin down here from Blake, or he can come off a floppy, which is a down screen for KD to come out to the wing. And KD chooses to just not take any of them. And he just comes straight through and gets the ball at the left elbow.
Because he's like, listen, I'm 7 foot tall. I can take any shot I want at any point. I don't need any action run from me. Give me the dang ball.
Exactly.
And so far, he's done pretty well in his career.
Oh yeah, no doubt. But this, like, I don't understand how this happens, because when you play ball, you know where the shooters are. At least you should know. At least you should know, right? Okay, am I guarding the shooter? No. Okay, cool. I can pay attention a little bit more to what's going on in the middle. Am I guarding the shooter? Okay, now I have to really be locked in on being able to see ball and man. And one of the things you're taught as a little pipsqueak is, if you want to be lower than the ball, right? So he's lower than the ball, but I guess I should say you should be lower than your man. If you're going to try to see man and ball, you want to be able to have sight of your man and ball. And right now he has sight of the ball, but not his man. And that's Joe Harris. Like,
yes,
you should.
It's
right?
Joe Harris. Who was he the best shooter in basketball last season?
I think so. Until he got to the playoffs,
Yeah. Oh well, that's another story. But I think he shot 45+% from on a lot of attempts a game.
Unreal.
Now it helps. It helps to have James and Kyrie and Kevin taking all the pressure off you. But holy crap, Zach LaVine! This is the last person you want to leave open in the corner.
Seriously. First of all, like, this is what I don't understand. Why are you that low anyway? Because Blake, you're not worried about, because Vooch is here.
Yeah.
There's nobody that can cut that. Like, I don't understand why he's not like I would.
Yeah. Like
Joe Harris.
What is he gonna do? What is he gonna do to KD on the opposite wing? Like, why is he so intent on watching what KD's doing? What's he gonna stop? What action is he going to stop? Is he gonna go and double KD?
What I'm thinking happened. What happens to the Levine and sometimes DeMar a lot is, if they know that there's going to be a double coming from somewhere, right? So, and in this game, they were sending, like, when Lonzo was in the game. Oh wait, my bad, he's guarding the ball. But like, usually, like, if let's say who else was it? Javante was guarding KD.
Yeah. They'd send a double.
And Lonzo, they would send that double right away. Get the ball out of KD's, and then obviously you have to rotate. And I'm thinking that Zach, just the timing was way off, which I don't understand, because you can see Javante, you can see when he's leaving. So, but anyway, I think he was like, okay, let me get ready to get up here to Patty, because I know that double's coming. But dude, no, like, that's tough.
Okay, man. Zach just starts walking towards the 3-point line for no apparent reason. Like, not aggressively, as if he were on a Sunday afternoon walking down the street. That's his level of intensity on this walk. He's walking casually away from Joe Harris in the corner.
Like, even now, like,
this play, I watched this in real time. I watched it again and again and again, and I cannot figure out what Zach was doing here. But he's okay. Spook says, knowing Zach often ball watches. Yeah, like, that's probably gonna be on the scouting report. He's not even ball watching at this point. He's literally looking at Patty Mills and just casually walking towards. Oh.
It's hilarious because Zach's like, huh? Oh shit!
Oh yeah!
Oh my god!
He knows.
Oh my god!
And then he points at Javante as if it was Javante's. My gosh, that play! As soon as you brought this up, I was like, I know what this play is going to be.
When I saw that point, I felt like Javante was like, "Yo, what you doing?" And he was kind of like, "I thought you were doubling." I don't know if he was pointing at Javante. I just kind of felt like he was trying to give like an explanation of why he did that. But
man,
like, he pointed at over there. Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe he was just saying like, "Yo, I thought you were going," but still, bro, like, there's Joe Harris. Yeah. You can't lose sight of Joe Harris.
But you make a good point in the beginning here, which is, look what Joe Harris is.
Mm-hmm.
He's in that corner. Zach is on the logo next to the right elbow.
Yep.
There's a Bulls logo. stand on the Bulls logo, which is like 3 or 4 feet in front of where Joe Harris is, in comparison to where that ball is, you're going to be you want to be behind. You want to be able to have your head on a swivel and swivel back and forth between your man and the ball and your man and the ball. And now Zach has gotten, admittedly, a lot better at keeping his head on a swivel, but you can't keep your head on a swivel if you're in front of, and if you're not in that plane, right? You have to have that 180 degrees view. Yeah. Both the ball and Joe Harris are behind him at this point. And so either you turn around and now have that 180, or you got to take a few steps back. But just
imagine if that's DJ.
This play can't happen, man.
Imagine if that's DJ Jack, and you get a pin here from.
Oh my gosh,
that's an oop all day.
That's a free dunk. Yeah,
he doesn't even know.
You don't realize it until the ball is touching the net in that situation. Yeah, you can't. Oh my gosh, I can't even watch that. We got to go to the next clip. This one, that's the worst clip I've ever seen of Zach's off-ball defense.
I think we'll end on this. Well, actually,
for the Brooklyn game, you mean?
Yeah, I'm trying to. I think how many more clips do I have? Okay, so we'll end on this one. We'll end on a good note. Okay, this is what I loved this, and this is what I feel like. If you're not going to shoot a lot of threes. Well, they're one of the lowest teams, if not the worst team in terms of three-point attempts a game. And if you're not going to do that, that means you're going to have to really lean on your defense and get out and run to compensate for for not taking that many. And and I think they've been doing really well. And I thought this possession was really nice, right? So Javante's guarding KD. KD swing once again. He tried to catch Zach again, but this time Zach is like, okay, I'm here. KD swung it. He skipped it all the way to the right corner to Joe Harris. I think that's one of those things where you checking to see if Zach is awake. And, okay, he's awake. All right, cool. Joe Harris catches it because Zach closes out really well, gets out there. Joe swings it to Blake at the right elbow, and Blake swings it over to James Harden. This is going to turn into a pick and roll here. But this is what I love too. Billy, being able to push this down and what some people call ice as well. They ice this pick and roll here, which is, once again, Vooch is in a great spot where he needs to be. Lonzo is, he's stuck a little bit, but thank God Vooch is there. Really good job here, right? Lonzo gets back, gets attached to James Harden. Vooch is where he needs to be. You got DeMar right here in terms of on the left block there of the floor, ready for like a dump off to Blake. And you can see Bruce Brown is signaling to James Harden about the pin or set a hammer screen, corner pin on DeMar, hit Joe Harris here. But he tried to get it there, but the pass is a little off, so it allowed Javante to close out. He pushes him baseline. DeMar's there for the help. Vooch swings out to Blake. Zach gosh.
Yeah, don't watch Zach on this play. You're not going to be impressed.
But Javante's there. He stops the ball. They swing it out to Joe Harris. Javante, moves his feet. Shot clock violation.
Yeah.
That's good stuff. Zach is Zach, but everything else I thought was pretty well done. But yeah.
Well, and here's the thing is, you got 5 players on the floor. Lonzo and Javante are plus defenders. Vooch, DeMar, and Zach are not, right? They're okay to bad sometimes.
Yeah.
Zach on that play was not good. He let Joe Harris get to the corner while he was trying to sit with Blake at the elbow. Sorry, you got something up here, but and then he tries to close out too hard on KD, who's like 5 feet beyond the 3-point line. KD blows by him, but Javante. But my point is here not to dig on Zach too much, but you can make a good defense work even with less than stellar defenders on the floor as long as you've got a good system and you got guys rotating the way they should be. You can make up for some of those deficiencies. But yes, Zach has quietly been a lot worse than he was last year on defense so far. And that's something I thought would change.
Yeah.
Especially after what we saw with the Olympics.
Yep.
It has not yet. Still fairly early on in the season. And last season, he started off pretty bad and got better and better as the season went on, I thought.
Yeah.
So there's plenty of time. But as Salim's right, the Bulls defense being really good overall has kind of masked some of those key issues. But that's why you have a night like you had against Golden State. That's going to magnify some of those weaknesses and bring him into focus. So it's a good thing to have. You want to catch those things early, and it's nice to catch your defensive weaknesses in a W. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Instead of a loss. So
yeah. So moving on to the Mavs game.
This is another game I thought we did actually a really poor job defensively, but we just were such a hot shooting team that we came away with a victory anyway. But a lot of
Lonzo. So what I wanted to show was it's like coming into the season, we said yes, Lonzo is a pretty good point of attack defender, but you love him more off ball. Being able to play free safety, use his feel for the game off ball to get his hands on, deflections, steals. That's what you like. You like him playing free safety on defense. This clip here, Jalen Brunson, he comes off of a screen here, ball screen from Kristaps Porzingis. Tony obviously he can't show too long because Kristaps can shoot that, so he gets out of there. Lonzo's there, but I think the reason why I wanted to show this clip is like he is easily shifted. Like I think it's something. I know a lot of people talk about hips, but like his it's something like maybe he's like too tightly wound. I don't know what it is, but like he doesn't really do a good job with shifty guys. And I thought Jalen Brunson did a good job of really shifting him here with between the legs, getting him to open up a bit.
Lonzo's currently faced the other way.
Yeah.
With this on this crossover.
Tries to recover. Tries to recover, but I mean, Jalen Brunson's able to get there. But like that I think this also shows too, in this last little part here, is Lonzo really is not he can't really jump off. He's not really explosive off stride. Like he's really a 2-foot leaper. So like when you get Lonzo into this situation where he can't take a power jump and try to go up and get that block, he's probably not going to really affect it. And as you can see, he doesn't really get that high off the ground here off of stride. And Jalen Brunson's able to get to a strong hand and finish over the top. So that's what I wanted to show in terms of point of attack, and partly why we didn't want him guarding Steph. But anyway, I
know. Can I talk about that for a second?
Of course.
I thought if the Bulls had any chance in that game, they needed to start Caruso and put Caruso immediately on Steph Curry. As many minutes as Steph Curry was on the floor, they needed Caruso to guard him. Because Caruso is extremely good at navigating screens, and the Warriors love to run Steph off 1 billion screens per possession. And Lonzo and Zach are just not as good. Like because of Lonzo's kind of stiffness, he's not as good at navigating screens. It's not his fault. It's just the way he is his natural biological makeup makes him not as good at navigating screens as someone like Caruso. And I mean, Steph hit the first shot of the night because Lonzo got caught on the screen.
I have that clip too.
And he had eight more made threes after that. It just you can't let Steph get hot, and that was the one thing I was very disappointed with Billy on. I really thought that they should have had, if Caruso wasn't going to start, they had to have Javonte Green on Curry.
I think
they didn't.
the only way I can think Billy thought, Billy wanted Lonzo on Steph is because maybe he thought more length. But at the same time, you could have just did Javonte. But I don't know. Like, that's a great point you bring up. I didn't even take that into account when I said in terms of like adjustments. Like, that's something you wish he would have adjusted on a bit more in that game. I mean,
because even when Caruso was coming in and Steph was on the floor, oftentimes Caruso did guard Steph a fair amount, but a lot of times he was on Jordan Poole instead.
Yeah.
And like Jordan Poole did nothing. I mean, it's because Caruso was on him, but
right.
I don't know. I thought that was a huge mistake. And I'm not an NBA coach, and I'm sure that he has a good reason for why he did what he did. But that just seemed to me like low-hanging fruit on the defensive end that wasn't plucked. So anyways. But yeah, that's why you want Lonzo more as a roamer. And you can just because he's not as good with guys that are really shifty and get him having to twist his hips and twist his body all over the place. That's going to be Lonzo is just not as good at that. Just by the way he is built, just the way he's built is not as good at that. So I'm sorry, I'm going on like long monologues every time you make a point. So I apologize.
No, dude, it's all good. So I had to throw another Vooch clip in here, man, because I'm missing my big dude, man. So Lonzo's coming up the floor on the right side. He gets a drag screen from Vooch. Vooch pops from it. And Vooch comes over for it's like a pitch almost. It's not so much a dribble handoff, like a pitch over to Zach. It turns into a ball screen. Zach comes off. He comes off another. They rescreen. Vooch rolls. Zach obviously hits Vooch on the roll. But
every time.
But
Vooch, every scouting report by now.
Seriously. But this is again the processing. Court mapping of Vooch. Right. As soon as he catches the ball, like he's already looking. And if you see Luka, who's guarding Lonzo. His whole kind of like Zach when he was guarding Joe Harris. Like,
yep, he's not in good position.
Lonzo's right behind him. His butt is facing Lonzo. His whole body is facing no one. And Vooch finds
Lonzo. It happens to the best of him, man. It happens to the best of him.
Exactly. And Vooch finds Lonzo on the wing, and Lonzo gets it right up, bang. And that again, just what you miss with Vooch. If you just see the movement, DHO. Flip, into a rescreen, just adding pressure, to this defense. Vooch catches it, boom, he finds Lonzo, knockdown. That's good stuff. That's good stuff.
I agree. Next clip.
Right?
No, I can't say anything else.
I didn't want to dig on my boy Io that much, but I thought this play showed this is a tough matchup for him. Luka is he's a rookie. He hasn't seen Luka. He's a big dude. He's very he's very deceptive. His ball handling is very, very sneaky. He takes advantage of your overextensions. If he shifts you, very good at getting by you. And I think he did a good job of doing that to Io here. And Io's a pretty good defender. I like Io. I didn't like this matchup when I saw it, but I still like Io as a defender. But I didn't think this would happen to him. But Luka does a good job on the right side of the floor of just setting up his dribble. He kind of hesitates his dribble as if he's going to come off this screen here, and just sets it up with a cross or left to right cross. And you can see Io's whole body is shifted as if he's going to come off a screen. Or
look at his right foot. His right foot is like not even on the floor. It's tilted as if in anticipation of that screen.
And this is where the magic of Luka. Like I watching him. He's a savant, man. But like
so
you get help from the strong side corner. I'm not really mad at Zach there because
nope.
that's a wide open layup. So it's like, but he has two options here. Luke has two options. He can either hit strong side, and of course he hit TSJ, he was hot. He was hot, man. He's just really good at creating the advantage and making the right pass every single time.
So I mentioned this in DMs or on Twitter about how they were letting Hardaway Jr.
Yeah.
What's his freaking first name?
Tim.
I'm like, it's not Troy. What am I trying to say? Troy. Anyways. So Tim Hardaway Jr., they left him open all night long.
Yeah.
And someone in Twitter responded to me and said, well, they were trying to double Luka, and so they had to leave someone open. But there were lots of plays like this where it wasn't their scheme. It was them not rotating correctly.
Exactly.
Just leaving him open. And we got really, really lucky, especially in that third quarter, because both teams were just cooking.
Yeah.
Just cooking in that third and fourth. And the Bulls just won a shootout, I thought, rather than played good defense. Like a lot of people said is their best all-around win. I really disagree defensively. I really thought they did I don't know, maybe you disagree with me, but I thought there were way too many missed rotations in this game.
I agree. Especially going back and watching again. Like I agree. TSJ also hit some tough shots as well. I mean, he hit some with hands in his face as well at some points, but most of them were, catching rhythm, guys too late.
Yeah.
But transition here. Luka is driving down the middle of the court here. He gets a paint touch. He gets in there, draws help from DeMar and DJJ. He swings it out. Finds Jalen Brunson at the top of the key. And this is where I think this is really, really the reason why I wanted to use this clip here, because I want your opinion here. All right, so DeMar and DJJ are here. So obviously DeMar's going to swing back out to Bullock.
Yeah.
What is Alizé doing? I just need to know what Alizé's doing, because this brother, right? Okay, and then he just what we doing? Like, I don't understand. DJJ is there, so you just
he's just giving moral support to Derek Jones in the post here.
And knockdown.
Yeah, this is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
This is not them doubling Luka. This is in this particular thing getting mixed up in transition. But you got to pick up a body. You got to pick up a man in transition. You can't just run down the floor. I mean, he was like, I'm just going to go into the paint real quick. Anyways, hey, Salim's out here trying to slander me. Listen, I know he's Tim Hardaway Sr.'s son. I just couldn't remember his first name.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, Salim also says Steph was only guarded by Alex Caruso for 2 minutes and 37 seconds in that entire game. That is inexcusable to me, in my opinion. In my amateur opinion, that's bad. B-A-D, bad.
So this, I'll probably do one more clip and then we can go to the Warriors. But
can't wait.
I can't wait. So Larro brings the ball up, middle of the floor. You're going to get a clear out here from DJJ. He's going to swing from the left side to the right side of the floor. Io's over here, so it'd be Io and DJJ. And then you're going to have DeMar come off a pin down from TBJ. He is big TBJ. And pin down from Troy Brown. Wow.
There's too many juniors, man.
Tony Bradley.
There's too many juniors. What's going on here?
He gets a pin down from Tony Bradley. Tony Bradley comes back up for a ball screen, step up. DeMar comes off. But I think this was actually the first time that they showed this in the game. But they blitzed DeMar. DeMar does a good job of retreat dribble, getting that pass over, finding Tony Bradley.
Sir.
But this is how you attack it, right? When you see a blitz like this is how you attack it. You find the middle of the floor.
This is what Thad was so good at last year, and this is why Zach was one of the most effective pick and roll ball handlers in blitzing situations, because he had Thad and Wendell.
Yep. And
as a release valve.
It stresses this guy here. Stresses the guy in the middle of the floor, because who's going to take him? He has to step up, but his man ends up being left open, which is Io. Io does a good job of cutting to get to the basket, and that's just a really good job by them. So, getting that blitz, on the ball screen, and DeMar doing a good job of taking a couple retreat dribbles and then just getting it up, finding Tony Bradley, and Io finishes it off. Just good stuff.
And Tony had great reaction time. Get that pass off.
Oh yeah,
he turned, saw it, boom. I've been really impressed with Tony Bradley. That man is a minimum deal. He's on a minimum deal. He's giving you absolutely way more than minimum value. He's going to be good. He's going to be really important for us, I think.
Oh yeah,
but he can't replace Vooch. He just can't. This is not going to happen. He just doesn't have that same skill set. They're going to have to mix it up.
Yeah. So, we'll go back to the other one. So with Levine, I just wanted to show that I love this move. I feel like he's obviously done it last season, but I feel like with DeMar, I just notice it more because DeMar does it all the time. But this drop dribble that Levine does here to get this foul from Kristaps is just really good stuff to get a foul towards the end of the game. But right there, right, he comes off one, boom, that drop dribble, and I'm gonna slow it down here just
he's so fast.
I'll go little by little. All right, comes off, takes a hard dribble, and then that drop dribble really hard, two-hand, boom. And then as you can see, you'll see KP sticks his hand out just to try to steal it away, which creates the foul. Zach rips through it, couple steps, foul. And I love that drop dribble. I love it so much. I can't even imagine. I can't even say it's just that dribble right there, and he just rips through.
Zach is so fast. Do you see how as soon as that dribble goes down? His speed on that first step is amazing.
Oh yeah,
it's the distance he covers.
Oh yeah,
I've never seen anything like it. Never seen anything like that.
Let's see. Let me see. Okay, this is the very first game. Not the very first, but one of I think Steph's first three. So
yep, this is the one I was talking about.
So yes.
Oh, we're at the Warriors game now.
Yep, Warriors game.
We have lots of positive clips on this game, I'm sure. Just tons of positive clips.
So Steph's coming up the floor here. Comes off
there it is.
Drag screen from Draymond, and
that's it.
Let me roll it back a little bit here. Yeah, so Draymond comes set the drag screen, and like you said, we haven't coached in the NBA, and surely haven't played in the NBA. So I can't really trash Lonzo too much, but this is just I think this is know your personnel. KYP, Billy, yes, Lonzo has been better playing over the screen, getting over screens this season, but I wouldn't want to take a chance with this guy, him guarding this guy.
This is a layup. You give Steph airspace on a pull-up three, that's a layup for him. And it counts for 3 points.
Here's the other thing, too, though. If they're going to have Kevon Looney out there, this is just something I would have said. Tony, get your ass up here. Make him pass to him. Yep. Get your ass up here.
Blitz that screen.
That's what I would have done, and just had DeMar just sit here and just have these guys just kind of DeMar play two if Draymond rolls, and Kevon just play two because you got help here. I don't know. I would have cooked something up, but I would have had Tony just say every time they set a drag screen for Steph, I want you up here. Get up here and make him pass out of this. But Lonzo gets hit, Steph, boom. Just cash. When he hit that three right there, I was like, yeah, it's gonna be a long night, but I'm gonna stay hyped because That's where I came in. I came in.
I know, man. I said the same thing. As soon as Steph got that, I was like, if that's the level of difficulty for Steph to get a shot off, this is going to be a bad game. And it was.
Yeah. So with this clip here, I just kind of wanted to show like what I liked offensively early on.
No chance, Salim. We're not showing that clip. Just don't play the clip where Steph turns around to wait in the crowd before he even hits other. No. I think I turned off the game before that happened.
Steph is unbelievable, man.
No, he's annoying as heck.
He is. He's probably
the worst person.
Probably Steph is that guy, man. Like, he's probably a great husband, great father, great dude off the court. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my gosh, on the court. Listen, man. If you start showboating, if I'm playing pickup with you and you start showboating, I'm going to give you a hard foul. I'm going to let you know about it. If I was in that game and Steph started doing that, I would have Giannis'd him. Remember when Giannis tackled Mike Dunleavy in the corner in that playoff game?
Yep.
That would have been Steph. I would have been like, nope.
You know what this sounds like?
Sit down.
This
you can beat us, but you're not going to showboat.
Chicago listeners, like, you'll probably remember this. ESPN, right? ESPN 1000. Like, Salim, I know you're going to remember this. But Chris, what you just said reminds me of Cap. When he was talking about when Klay Thompson had that big game, he broke the record against us, right? I think, if I remember right.
I think so.
And Cap the next morning is like, I would have laid his ass out. Like, as soon as he would have, he was just really mad. He was like, somebody should have took a forearm and got in the Klay. And it was just, that's what it just reminded me of. But that was hilarious.
And you guys know I'm just messing. I'm just saying, like, I hate the showboating so much. Like, don't showboat. Don't showboat on my team on the court. If I'm on the court, I'll let you know.
So are you Markieff Morris or are you like PJ Tucker?
No, I'm just
Oh, okay.
more PJ Tucker.
Right.
No, but I'm gonna like, I don't know. You gotta. I'm just one of those, like, have pride in your defense.
Oh yeah.
Don't let that happen.
But again, like,
who cares? I don't know why I even said that. I'm just going off on some dumb tangent. Forget what I said.
No, you're good, bro. No, but the Bulls offense sometimes run things, and I'm like, yes, continue, just do this. Like, and what I mean by this is, like, they run this play, but I mean, like, I feel like they get away from it too much. Like, they do it here and there, and then they go to some more, like, just get the ball to Zach, drag screen, and it's like, we understand Zach can do that, but, like, let's make it easier for Zach and everyone else. Let's get movement. Let's player movement, body movement, and I feel like this is a good job here, right? So Lonzo gets a step-up screen here on the right side of the floor, comes off, swings it to Tony Bradley, that flows right into Chicago action. Like, this is what should be happening a lot. Come up, step up, add stress there, make Jordan Poole have to get over a screen, make Kevon Looney have to worry about a ball screen, and then swing it back to Tony and have Kevon be ready to, okay, what are they doing now? Right? Now he's putting stress on Steph. As you can see right now, he's trying to communicate with Andrew Wiggins right now. And step up and turn into a Chicago action. Now you get some more space for Zach. Like, Draymond obviously is going to step over a bit like he did now, but, like, if you're going to give Zach all of this, like, I love that. Like, give Zach more space to do work. And obviously this is a basket, but and people may say that's a tough shot, but that's a shot Zach makes. Like, that's a shot that Zach can make. And it's just like, and that's the other thing, man. This team, if it ain't Vooch, it wasn't Wendell Carter Jr., they don't screen well. Like, look at this. Like, if he doesn't
even touch him.
He doesn't even touch him. And you need to screen. And there's a play, as a matter of fact, like, we already know Zach comes off, takes a step back, and knocks us down. Let me find it. It's a box and one play. Let's see. Where's it at? Here it is. All right, so this is early in the game. Boxing 1. Gary Payton is literally hugging Zach right now, like a couple feet off the 3-point line.
Yeah, ball is just past half court. Gary Payton's trying to tackle Zach.
He's literally hugging him. And so Zach sets a pin down, almost like a Chicago action here for Caruso to come off. And this is right here. We just talked about the screening. This is how you can help Zach. This is how you can help Zach. One screen doesn't hit him. Second screen doesn't hit him. And he's still there. Like you have to set screens. Like you have to make him take a reroute to give Zach more leverage, give him better angles. If you're not going to help your teammate by doing the little things, by setting screens, like I don't know what you expect Zach to do when, honestly, this is my very first time being able to watch the Mitten full game. And I was very impressed with how tough he played. Like he did, if I'm Gary, I'm sitting at the house, happy. My son is holding up the name, it should be a stagger here, but Io doesn't hit him and Alizé doesn't hit him. Like, you got to help Zach here, which helps your offense, and Zach does a good job by being able to hit Alizé in the short roll. And I'm just looking here. If Vooch is here, that ball's going there, right? Or it's an oop, but I think Jordan Poole does a good job. Well, no, that's an oop. That's an oop. I think Vooch hits that oop right there. I think he dumps it off a little bit quicker to DJJ. But that's what you got to do. Or maybe Vooch even just hits here to Caruso, and that's what you miss. And I think people need to understand, I think as we progress through these clips, you're seeing now, with Vooch there, it's made quick. The decision is made quick. And as you can see, he takes a dribble. Vooch probably doesn't even take a dribble there. He probably catches it and just swings it. But this is what I'm talking about. This is what that boxing 1 does. When you don't have a guy, obviously Billy was trying to stagger Zach and DeMar as much as he could. So, you need, somebody that can get to the middle of that defense and make good decisions, especially if they're going to push Zach down. Right. Zach. This is a great example of Zach at the beginning of the game making the right play. This is the right play, right? You draw Draymond, you swing to the middle of the court. Now you have an advantage. You got it's 3-on-1 back here, basically. You have the advantage, and that you have to make your decision very quick. And if you don't, take one dribble, now everybody's able to get back to where they need to be.
There's between Vooch and Alizé right now.
So, but
not just that, but in that decision-making process.
Oh yeah.
By the way, speaking of Wendell Carter, he's taken 45 threes so far this year, shooting at a 40% clip, taking almost 4 a game. He went 4 of 6 again today.
I love it.
And he's one of the best screen setters. I love that man.
I put this
anybody who thinks Wendell Carter was the problem last year,
they're wrong.
Oh my gosh. I just want to talk, bro. I just want to talk.
No, but I put this clip in here for you because I thought this was actually a push off as well. But what do you think?
Yes. I mean, there's no question. And they show it on the replay too. They show that clip 1,000 times that night. Every time it's clear because he gets the elbow and then full extension of the arm.
Oh, he did it for us. Okay.
They show it again. They show it again. They show that play a bunch of times because they're like, oh, Steph Curry's hot. And they show that 3. And every time I'm like, dude, he just pushed off.
Caruso, bro.
Yeah.
You really just got to let him do that? It's already hard to guard. You going to let him do that?
And the official is looking right at him. And all the replays, it shows the official looking right at him. Not that one. Not that guy. That guy too. The guy in the corner. But watch the ref right there.
Oh, yeah, this guy.
Watch him. He's looking right at Steph. when he pushes off. Oh, nope, you're good. Carry on, sir. No, I mean it's a complete push off. Anyways, that doesn't matter that much, but
so
that's a big swing.
This is the play right here, Kris. This is the play that I would like for them to run for Zach. I want them to, and I talked about this on Twitter with Evan Gualberto, and this is what I would love for them to do. Just do it. Please just do it.
This, by the way, for those who are just listening, this is the first play of the third quarter. The Warriors have the ball. And this is when I knew the game was like, it's over. They were down by 6 at the half.
Right, exactly.
They ran this play out of the first play out of the third quarter. This game was over.
So I call this a low post split. And so just imagine, all right, if you're listening or if you're watching, imagine Zach bringing the ball up here. Okay. Yeah, Zach bringing the ball up. You got Vooch at the top of at the wing. Reason why I say Vooch because I would rather him pass it, or you could have DeMar be here. So Kevon Looney's going to set a pin down for I think that's Wiggins. Yeah, Wiggins. Yep, Wiggins. And Kevon, which is hilarious, is coming off like a floppy. And like that's what I'm talking about. Creativity, man. But yeah, so and when Wiggins comes off that pin down, he comes set like a ghost here for Steph. That's all window dressing. All this is window dressing just to get pieces where they need them to get to put pieces. And Kevon comes off the floppy here on the right side of the floor, which Draymond gets to that low post area. Steph swings it over to Kevon Looney. And I love this action too, because if it's open, obviously you dump it off. But Steph's going to set like a little rub screen here, comes off. Andrew Wiggins is going to come down, swing it. And this is what I love here, right? So you get the little like twirl or the little curl here off Steph's screen from Wiggins to the front of the rim. But now you get that split screen from Kevon Looney. All right, get that split screen, boom. Like, just
let me ask you something.
Yeah,
that looks like an illegal screen to me.
Let's see.
From Kevon Looney, he does a little booty back up.
Does. Yeah, he does. But even if he just stood there, you just gotta stay in the way. Just be in the way and don't move your butt. Don't stick your butt out. Just be in the way. Make that guy have to reroute to trail. And because let's say, for instance, like Lonzo gets over that. Now you got to roll here. Now you're putting stress on Tony Bradley, which he already is on stress because it's like, oh, shoot, that's Steph. I got to get up there. It's too late. But anyway, so let's say, yeah, Lonzo gets over that. That's a pocket pass to Kevon Looney, and he probably makes the extra pass to Jordan Poole for a 3. You know, so it's like that's the stress you add. Like that's stressful, right? Zach is going to help at the nail. And Kevon Looney is gonna make that pass over to Jordan Poole for a wide open jumper. So like that, the stress it's all there. And I just wish, man. I just wish just one time. I just want to see what it looks like with the Bulls. Just one time, please.
Call up Billy D.
I would love to, man.
Let him know.
Let's see. Let me go back here.
I bet you if you said, "Hey, Billy, you know that play that Warriors ran first play of the third quarter?" He'd know what you're talking. He know what that.
Oh
play
yeah.
is. And he'd be like, "Oh yeah, sure, I'll run it against the Clippers." Oh, that reminds me. King TMC 39th. He asked, "Do you think the Clippers zone us up for the game today?" I guess it's Sunday now in Chicago. So, do you think they throw any zone at us? And what do you think they should do to handle the zone?
Yeah, so I think teams are going to definitely throw zone. I think they'll. I think you'll see more of what I think Tibbs kind of threw that, kind of threw the flavor out there when we played him, and you double, Zach and DeMar in ball screens. You force the ball out of their hands and have somebody else make a play, especially now without Vooch. Yeah. And I think you'll see a lot of that. If they do go zone, just very simple stuff, man. Just try to get that ball in the middle of the zone as much as possible. Compress the defense, make them have to help in there and find shooters. And I would love to see Billy go to a 3-guard lineup with Caruso starting, because he's another really good decision maker off ball, on ball. Most of the time on ball, he does too. But yeah, no, you just gotta, like with zones, man. You just gotta take your time. You gotta move the zone around. In NBA, obviously, you only have 24 seconds, so you have to really put guys in the right spots right away and move the ball really well, and find open shots. And attack the basket when you have an angle, an opening. You have to do it. You can't just sit out at the 3-point line and chuck threes. Like, I think some people think like, oh, they're going 2-3 zone, or they're going 3-2 zone. Let's find, let's shoot them out of the zone. It's like, that's kind of like what they want you to do. Like, they kind of want you to just like think that. So, okay, long rebound, we get out, but in order to really beat a zone, you have to really be patient, move the ball around, and find those creases, get in there and hopefully looks at the rim, or finding some open shooters from the opposing team helping. Yeah.
Also, King TMC did say Larro respects your film breakdowns. They're on point. So he's given some praise, some absolutely well-deserved praise for your film breakdowns. They're amazing.
I appreciate that, man.
He also asked, Kobe and Vooch are so vital to us shooters. Why do you think people want to trade them? I don't know. Those people are crazy. I mean, I can see trading someone like Kobe if you can get a significant upgrade, just because the timeline, they may not think the timeline matches up. Same thing for Pat, right? Especially not injured. But I mean, we really need Kobe right now.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
He's gonna be really important to us. So I mean, unless you got to find some bench shooting and someone who could just put a little bit more pressure on the defense, and Kobe can. He's got that gravity. He's got enough playmaking to be able to make that happen. So
yeah,
I don't think there's any reason that they should be looking for a trade unless something really attractive is available and they can't pass it up. But I mean, if you're doing like a 2 or a 3-for-1 trade to get an upgrade, you're just killing your bench even further. So I don't see it happening.
I can't wait to see Kobe in pick and roll getting into that nail. Snaking some pick and roll, getting to that nail for that midi. He's one guy I don't mind him taking midi.
He's good at that mid range. That exact shot that Lonzo's been taking, Kobe got really good at that last year.
That's a shot he was good at in college. I just feel like he's more comfortable now. Like, I can't wait for Kobe. I feel like he's going to add some more flavor, man. He's going to add some more flavor to this team, and flavor that this team needs. So yeah.
I do think we should be patient with Kobe. Obviously, he hasn't been able to do much basketball in the last 6 months. So there's probably going to be some inconsistency early on, but just the threat of him shooting is going to be a huge boon to our team, especially with Vooch out. I want Pat, man. Come on.
You said what?
I want Pat back, dude.
I know. Can you imagine?
Mad.
Oh my God. Pat is small ball 5. Oh.
That's what I would have done against the Warriors.
And he's good in short
Caruso.
roll.
Yes.
He's quick decision maker in short roll.
Man, Caruso, Lonzo, Zach, Tamar, Patrick Williams at the 5 versus the Warriors. That would have been really fun to see.
Mitchell, Robin, you know what? I'm not even going. Okay. You know what? So this next clip, right? So it's towards the game is getting kind of right about this time. You're starting to think, yeah, it's 11, but it's not looking good, right? So and I think that this is when Zach started to think that way as well, right? DeMar's not playing that well. Lonzo's not hitting a shot. You don't, you're going to trust TBJ, big TBJ to get a bucket. You're going to trust Io to get a bucket. So at some point, as an elite scorer that he is, he's going to say, I have to step up. I have to find a way to get to get some buckets and try to swing this lead and swing this game back our way. like it was at the beginning of the game. But here, I get it. You're a scorer and you're really good at it, and you've gotten to a point in the game where you're like, you know what, it's time. I have to figure out a way. And right now, I mean, Jordan Poole's like, yes, like you're not going to the middle of the floor. Perfect. I'm gonna push you on down here where Draymond is, and we gonna do that. I'm cool with this. Keep going, Zach. Please, just keep going. And Zach keeps doing it. But this is where Zach has to understand too. Is like, bro, this is Draymond. Like Draymond is probably gonna go down as one of the greatest defenders the NBA's ever seen. Like, and you can't. Okay, very simple stuff. Very, very simple stuff that I teach my coach, the kids that I coach. You go into the corner. That's a defender. That's a defender. Two defenders. So you 4-on-1, brother.
Yeah, like, now you're not quad teamed.
Exactly. So what are we doing here? Why are we not? Why is DeMar not swinging up here? Why is Javonte not trying to swing out here? What are we doing? Why are we going to the baseline? DeMar's. I mean, like you just made Jordan Poole's life so easy. You didn't try to attack him to get into here in the slot area. You didn't bring the ball in the middle of the floor to kind of get some offense going. He literally, if it was me and I was guarding Zach at that point, in my head, I'm like, oh, thank God. Like, I'm not supposed to be guarding.
All you gotta do is stand on the 3-point line with your hips, perpendicular to the sideline. You're like, my job is done because I got Draymond on my right. I've got a baseline behind me, and I've got the sideline out of bounds on my left side. My job is all I got to do is stand here and wait for Zach to try and take a shot.
Yep, and that's what they do. They got him on the left side of the floor, short corner area, pinned up, Draymond and Jordan Poole. Zach, I would have liked him to jump in the air and try to fire that ball to Javonte. Maybe Javonte can swing it over here to Lonzo. But he probably would have done that earlier in the game. But at this point, like he's like, dude, I got to do something. Like I just have to. And he takes a tough shot, air ball. Tony gets it, swings it out to Lonzo, and then hey, he knocks it down. But
it's a good possession. It's gonna end up possession. But you can't have Zach doing Zach. You can't have Zach making the defender's job that easy.
No,
there's nothing to be gained. Anyways.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I
feel bad. And I do not want anyone to think that we're trying to like rag on specific players. Like these are great NBA players. Zach is one of the elite scorers in the game.
Oh, yeah.
You guys know how much I love Zach. I told my wife I need a jersey for Christmas. It's coming. So I just, we're pointing out things because we see ways for basketball improvement. We're trying to dissect the reasons why they didn't do as well as they should have,
right?
Or they didn't, get it done last night. So it's nothing personal. Like anyways, and I'm sure people understand that, but just want to make it clear. Like I love Zach. He's great. We got to tell the truth
for a while. So this clip here.
You want to end on this one?
It goes along with what we've been saying, and we know Salim and Chip, a bunch of our guys have been saying, like we would like Lonzo off ball in being the guy that ends the plays, and I think this is another example, right? So you get Lonzo comes up the right side of the floor. And Javonte sets on like a brush screen here. Gets Steph on Lonzo. Lonzo flips it over to DeMar on the right corner. He comes up, and you get a cut from Lonzo into the middle of the floor here at the free throw line. He catches it. Now he has Draymond on him. Yeah. And this is my thing here, right? We got all this going on. And this whole time, Zach is just sitting in the corner. Like, what are we doing? Like, what is the end goal of this possession? Like, we're down. Why are we not trying to get the ball into Zach LaVine's hands? Why are we not running for instance, perfect time to run that step up, flip into Chicago action, get a nice look for Zach. Like, why are we not doing those things?
Or right here, right? So Lonzo, he's not going to take advantage of that. Roll it a little bit until you get DeMar, passes it back to Javonte, passes it back. Now you've got a mismatch, right? Now this is a better action.
Yep. Than
what they ran. Why not just attack Steph? Steph is not a great defender, and he's a lot smaller than DeMar.
Yeah, you know what? That's actually
instead you pass it, and then you put Lonzo Ball against Draymond Green. So you put someone who's not good at creating mid-range shots for himself against one of the best defenders of all time, instead of having DeMar on Steph. Anyways, yeah, keep going.
No, you're completely right, man. Like, if anything, I probably would have had Javonte get over there towards the hash. Lonzo, stay there, because if Draymond helps, I'm kicking it right to you. But if he doesn't, I'm giving Steph a bucket. Or
have Javonte go and set a pin down screen to get Zach out of the corner as DeMar is taking Steph off the dribble.
Yep, exactly. That's perfect. And that's not what happens. Oh wow! I didn't even notice Lonzo caught Draymond sleeping. I just noticed that. But anyway, Lonzo gets it at the elbow, kind of like the slot, a little bit higher than elbow, like the slot area, and Draymond's guarding Lonzo.
And now you've got your two best ball handlers. Sitting in the corner doing nothing.
Yes.
And you end this is when I think I tweeted, or soon after this the Javonte Green Steph Curry shootout.
Yeah. Yep.
It was this because you are having your play ended here. You got Zach and DeMar doing nothing.
Zach was in that corner that whole possession.
The whole never moved.
Like, if I'm Billy, I don't like,
Yeah, do something better than that.
You just have to.
Now, Golden State played a great defensive game, but the Bulls did not. Like, this seems so simple to me. I don't know. Like, there's like two or three things you could have done way better in this action for me, a basketball dunce.
Yeah.
Like, you guys are a professional basketball team with a lot of smart players. This should not be happening. Not 2 minutes, not even 2 minutes into the quarter.
Yep.
Now you spent the whole halftime coming up with adjustments, plays you're going to run. It's like an out of bounds play. You called the timeout to drop a nice play, run a nice play, like do something good. If you're just going to do this, what are we doing here?
Yeah, man. I mean, that's tough. Like that, and I've been harping on this since the beginning of the season.
Yes, you have.
I just feel like you have to do more. And there are possessions where they do, like at the beginning of the game, they ran like a horns out with Zach as a screener. He gets a rub screen from Tony, and he actually came off and had a defender trailing. He would have been able to catch and attack. Didn't even look his way. It's just like they go through the motions, and sometimes in their actions, they're not really like trying to dissect and see who's my 91, 92 overall player, and where's their weakest defender at? What are they trying to do with their weakest defender? Are they switching
to 2K?
You know what I'm saying? Like, are they trying to pre-switch where, okay, I know they're going to get Steph in this pick and roll, so hey, Steph, take mine because I know they're going to call your guy for a pick and roll, right? They're not doing that. Okay, so what can we do? What kind of actions can we do to put stress on Steph? What can we like? Yeah, if you're not going to really make Steph work on defense, hell yeah, he's going to go crazy on offense, and he still may go crazy. But at least try, at least put him through the ringer, like run him through. I don't care if he's guarding Javonte. just use Javonte as a decoy just to make Steph have to run. Like get him moving, do something, get this defense to move. If you're just gonna allow Andrew Wiggins to just chill over there in the short corner and not have to worry about Zach, you're just gonna allow Steph to just be able to guard DeMar only because DeMar didn't really attack him like that. But you have to put stress on these guys. Like you have to, and the way you do that is movement. And that's what Billy praises is ball movement, player movement, but they don't do it at times when they should do it. Like in these moments, and again, I've been a big dude saying like, yo, it's early, they're still learning it. They're still learning each other, they're still learning maybe what they're gonna run and things like that. But this is a I thought this game went towards, once the game started to get out of hand, I was like, okay, this has to be a good learning tool, because in the playoffs, like you're gonna have to grind out possessions. You're gonna have to run different sets. You're not gonna be able to just throw the ball to Zach LaVine, throw the ball to DeMar DeRozan, and just do that all the time.
Yep.
The Phoenix Suns, they do that. They run their double drags on the wing. They run the double drags on the top of the key in the middle of the floor. They run Spain. Spain pick and roll. They run side pick and roll. They run so many different things that the defense has to stay awake. They have to, they run a play where, like for instance, I'll show it on the screen here, right? They run a play where they'll have an elbow series where most of the time it'll be Book right here, Devin Booker, and they'll run like an elbow series where they'll have a big here and maybe a big here or a forward, and the big will come set a cross screen, and there goes the elbow. He comes out, and what happens is they'll have a dribble handoff in this area here to occupy these two. Obviously, they'll have a shooter here on the other side. And what will happen is once this dribble handoff or pitch, whatever it is, happens, Devin Booker will front cut, or what they call a blade cut. He'll front cut in front. He'll be able to catch it and have a head of steam to attack the basket. Like different things, like quick hitters, like especially in this type of game, it's still close. You got to grind out a possession and find a good shot. If you're just gonna pass the ball back and forth, especially DeMar, and I'm not going to criticize DeMar because he's been a godsend, but DeMar, I need for you to just be like, yo, Lonzo, sit your ass in this corner. Let me go at Steph Curry. Let me go at him and try to get a bucket, or run some damn offense.
Yeah, because you're just bailing the defense out. You're just making their job so easy, and then they can focus on the offense. This is exactly what happened. But I have one quick question. Is the lack of movement in this play is emblematic of it? Is that on the players or is that on Billy?
I go back and forth on this. It's I don't know if this is the right metaphor, or I shouldn't say metaphor. I'm trying to think of the right thing. Is it the chicken or the egg kind of deal? But so I said it before on our show. Like I feel like there should be a mix of empowering your players to play how they want to play, but also these are our principles. These are our rules. If we have a fast break, we got secondary break. Yeah, guys, go crazy. But if we don't have anything, this is the 2-4, whatever you guys have been working on in practice. These are the plays we should get to. If we don't have any clear advantage right away, these are the plays we should get to, right? And if you guys are not going to get to those plays, we're going to figure some shit out, But you have to get to these certain plays that we've implemented. Get to those, and let's try to find the right shot. And I just don't think they do that, man. Like you gotta just go. Like again, watch the Warriors, watch Phoenix, watch Milwaukee, watch the really good teams.
Utah does it too.
Yeah, Utah that's a great one. They will not stop running stuff until they find a good shot. They will keep running it. They don't care if that shot clock gets down to 5 seconds. They are going to keep running in action until they get an advantage somewhere. And who knows, man? Who knows what's gonna how? Yeah. So if I had to guess, I would say I don't know if it's cop out to say a little bit of both, but
no, I mean that's probably the answer though, right? I mean, it's Billy could be a little bit better about harping on it, making sure that stuff happens, and players need to be better about running it. So, yep. I think is that the one you want to end on? I think we could probably wrap it up then.
Yeah, we've been.
It's been a good season so far. So I'm not worried long term about it. But these are, you want to point out things that they did wrong or they could do better. And I'm sure Billy has pointed some of these things out in their film review with the players of things they want to do better and adjustments they need to make. And the basketball is a simple game in a lot of ways. And sometimes it's just a matter of making shots versus missing shots. Some nights are like that, right? But that's why I thought the Dallas game specifically was not as good a win as I would have liked it to be. And it wasn't because of the ending score. It was the process that they went through to get there. I did not like the process. They were just too I don't know, what's lackadaisical. I've never learned how to say that stupid word. But they just were kind of going through the motions on defense and not rotating very effectively. And it worked because they just outshot. I mean, Lonzo was on fire.
Yeah.
From three, and Vooch kind of had a bounce back game, especially late in that game, that just closed it out. But you saw with the Warriors, when you have a bad shooting night, your defense has to be on point in order to stay in that game. And your offense, you have to be generating the best shots. Now, if you miss those shots,
right,
that's going to happen, right? There's going to be nights where they're going to get a wide open three for Zach, and he's just going to brick it. I mean, that's going to happen, and it's going to happen over and over again sometimes.
Right.
But you want to look at the process of how you got there, and so that's some of the things that we've harped on tonight. Is the process of the offense have been lacking. It's not so much whether or not the shot went in on either side, or what if they got a W or an L. It's about how did they get to that, and so. Anyways, that's what I think is the most important takeaway is what process are we looking at? How did they get to these wins? How did they get to those shots? What kind of shots were they taking? What kind of shots were they giving was the defense giving them? And that's the kind of thing that's because that's what the coaches are going to be doing with the players. That's what they're going to be looking at. You think Billy does not care about whether or not, and Tom Thibodeau was the same way. Tom did not care if it was a W or an L. If he would rip into you if you got the process wrong, if you weren't doing what you're supposed to be doing, and the guy gets an open three because you did something wrong. Doesn't matter if he bricks it or makes it. You did something wrong. You got to fix that. And Billy's the same way. You saw him after the couple wins. He was like, "These wins don't mean anything. We got to keep working on our stuff."
Yeah, man. I guess I know it's early in the season. And who knows? Maybe I would get fired if I was the head coach. But I just feel like I would have to put my foot down right now and get into good habits. And that is, look, Lonzo, I don't know if you feel bad about this. I don't know how you'll take this, but brother, I want DeMar to have his hands on that ball in half court as much as possible. I don't want you to feel disrespected because I love you as a player. I love everything you bring to this team. You are an energy spark to this team. I mean, you're a big reason why this team is we're 8-4 now. But in order to be a better half court offense, I would like you to be a floor spacer. I would like for you to be able to play make off of advantages that DeMar will create for you. And you'll help him because they won't be able to help off of you, right? So I mean, it's and the other thing is too. I'm sorry, Zach.
Stop it, man! Come on,
bro. Zach.
You can't play hero time.
It's not bad, but Zach, we running you off some screens. We're gonna treat you like you're just a sharpshooter. We're going to treat you like you're Joe Harris, Kyle Korver. We're going to run you off screens. We're going to make your defender pay. And we're going to open up advantages for your teammates by using you, by running you off screens and running different actions for you. And like, I just don't think they do enough of it. Like, I don't think they do enough of it. And maybe, like, again, maybe Billy is trying to allow these guys to do their own thing. But I feel like sometimes it's just like at a job, right? Not everybody's going to like you. Not everybody's going to like you, but it's your job. And you just have to do your job, right? We don't have to be friends after work. We don't have to be friends, hanging out. We don't have to. But as long as I do my job and you do yours, that's all that matters. And I hope Billy has that mindset, right? Lonzo, who knows? He doesn't come off as a guy that's like that is gonna be talking crazy because he thinks he should do this. He doesn't come off that way, but who knows what he is outside, of the media, But I hope he's not that way. I hope Billy is able to speak his mind because I just feel like this team flows a little bit better in a half court. We all know what Lonzo does, fast break, full court. That's a beautiful thing to see. But half court, this team flows a little bit better when DeMar has the ball in his hands. And even Zach, you can see that Zach he's not comfortable with that thumb. If you reach anywhere near that thumb, you're probably gonna get a steal. So, but yeah, man, like Salim said, man. I'm sorry, King TMC 39th, man. Like, you just have to set roles. You got to set the roles now, get them right, get them used to those roles because, man, that game really set the tone because I feel like DeMar, was catching it and getting, trying to get to a book. I would like to have seen DeMar become more, that guy that puts pressure on their defense more often. And I don't think they did that enough. Like, give the ball to DeMar. And especially if they're going to do that box and one.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would have staggered DeMar as much. But again, it's one game. It's one game. So we'll see how it goes. But I will be paying attention to the adjustments Billy makes on offense. I will be paying attention to that because no matter how good you play on defense, you can be able to get fast break buckets, things like that. But if a team is going to do box and one, if a team is going to zone you out and you don't have Vooch, what are you going to do to adjust? And that's what I'm looking for against the Clips.
Yeah, no, I'm really excited to see what they do. The Clippers provide a really unique challenge. They're also a very good small ball team. And, Zubats is a pretty solid center, but he's not gonna be like Anthony Davis or Jokic, or even Nurkic, who are the 3 games after that.
Yeah.
So I'm looking to see how he adjusts to that and how he handles it, and I hope Zach gets a bounce back game because Zach, the man, just tried to put his team on his shoulders during that third quarter, and it went really horrendously, unfortunately, and it just ended in a lot of turnovers, and he wasn't able to find the right guy. So Billy's got to put him in a better position to make sure that he doesn't have to do that. He doesn't feel like he has to do that. And there shouldn't be possessions where those guys aren't moving off ball to get Zach easier looks, easier passes, setting screens for each other. Yeah, I agree with you. I think there's got to be a lot more movement to get, not only to get the ball in the hands of the guys who can create those advantages, but using the threat of them to create advantages for other people.
Yeah.
So run Zach off screen. Use Zach like you use Steph.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of things that you can copy from Steve Kerr's playbook to help Zach out. So, anyways,
even when Vooch is back, please,
yes,
please move.
Because there's no reason that this offense shouldn't be top 5 in the NBA this season.
Yes,
there's no reason.
Yeah, no reason.
You have the passing, you have the shooting gravity, you have the ball handling talent to be able to do it. They just got to do it more. They got to do it more. So this is a good test for them. I mean, this road trip, if they go 0-5 on this road trip, I mean, it's a possibility, right? These are good teams, and they're missing Vooch. They'll still be 8-8 at the end of that. So it won't be the worst thing in the world, but I would love to see them pick up some W's here, especially against the Lakers. I think the Lakers are really in a weak spot right now. They don't have LeBron. Anthony Davis presents a huge problem, and they're going to be coming off, the Bulls are going to be on a back-to-back against the Lakers, second night of a back-to-back, so it's going to be a tough game. But I don't think that team's been very good right now. So I'm really interested to see the next 2 days here, what happens with these guys. And we'll have a lot to cover next week again, and more film. And we had almost 2.5 hours of it today. And I know you had a lot more than we didn't even show. we got to set like 5 clip maximum, because we always end up going a lot further than we thought with a lot less than we thought we were going to do.
We have to be ready for Paul George, man. That dude is playing at a really high level.
Man, he is balling right now. So
playing like playoff P, baby. Playoff P.
Playoff P in the regular season. Amazing stuff. Hey, well, thank you guys so much for hanging around. Appreciate you guys sticking around. Hopefully this film review was helpful for you guys to kind of understand what they're running on offense, how they're doing on defense, what other teams are doing against them. And, Larro, I think, provided a lot of ways that they can adjust and overcome some of these mistakes, some of these miscues, and, just get offense flowing a little bit better than it has been. So, we'll see what happens this next week. But I mean, overall, it was a really good week. We had really quality wins against the Nets and the Mavericks, and 8-4. That loss only counts as one loss, and hopefully it'll be a learning experience. So we'll see what happens, and we'll see you guys again next week. Thanks for listening to Bulls 101, watching Bulls 101. Appreciate you guys' comments, questions that you guys send, interaction on Twitter. We appreciate it all. You can follow us at KLA Hoops, at _Larro Hoops, or at Bulls 101 Podcast on Twitter. Check out the Bar Network, subscribe, rate, and review. Check out the other shows, especially check out Bulls Gold from our guy Salim and Edward Schuler. More great content. They always got great guests, great analysis. And we'll see you guys again next week. Talk to you later.
Peace.